Chapter 13. Marta and Javi were working from the same hymn sheet. The pair of them working together were efficiency personified. The music had stopped, and the lights came on. The manager, Ignacio, had done his bit. Aside from the emergency exits, Carla Clements had one way in and out, the main entrance. Javi and Marta were stationed by the door with clipboards in hand, something else courtesy of Ignacio, and were taking down details from people before they were allowed to leave. ID was required by each and every person. Some protested that they didn't have their ID with them. These people were asked to go to the back of the queue and wait. It was at that point that most of them suddenly remembered that they actually had brought their identification with them. As they filed people out, more police arrived to help speed up the process. Hundreds of people, all leaving a venue at the same time, created a bottleneck of disgruntled people. At around the same time that the police arrived, the ambulance crew were taking the body of the girl out of one of the emergency exits, aided by Ignacio Ferrer and some of his team. Ferrer had already printed out a list of all his employees, highlighting the ones who were on duty that night, which was most of them. He had a few casual staff who worked here and there in the summer, but the majority of his team worked at the majority of the events. And the Valentine's masked ball was the biggest event on their calendar, unless someone with deep pockets hosted a wedding at Carla Clements. Angelica sat at the back of the room on the sofa outside the gents' toilets, opposite the one where she had seen the body. She stared at the sofa, as though it would give up clues as to what happened. Angelica wanted to get out of there, but at the same time, she didn't want to be anywhere else. She hoped for a word or two with Javi Jones when he had finished, but was aware that he might not have the time for it. He now had a job to do. The discovery of a dead body always preceded an investigation, and the most important time in any investigation was the first few hours. Javi would probably be up all night working. As the new police arrivals took much of the strain when dealing with the last of the people to leave, Javi stepped away from the crowd. Angelica could see he needed a few moments, so didn't approach him. But after rubbing his receding hairline with the palm of his left hand and looking up to the ceiling a few times, blinking wildly, he seemed to return to the room. He looked around, spotted Angelica on the sofa and walked over, his stride purposeful. "How are you?" he asked, sitting next to her. She leant on him. Not quite a hug, but something that brought them both some comfort. "She's," Angelica replied. "I know. Are you up for talking about it?" Javi asked, ever the detective. The way he was made Angelica lean away from him and harden the way she felt. She was experiencing sadness, but she found an inner determination to help Javi and find the killer of this poor girl. "Yes," she replied. "Tell me everything you saw." "She was on the sofa with a guy when I went to the toilets. They were doing what was called heavy petting when I was young. Not sure what they call it now. They were face to face all the time I queued for the loo. Then, when I came back out, she was on her own and looked like she had passed out. I've been told all manner of things about the Valentine's masked ball, mainly by my elderly neighbour. I was worried she'd had her drink spiked. I tried to get her up. It didn't feel right. I checked her pulse and she was..." Angelica didn't need to finish the sentence. They both knew what the final word was. "Aside from the guy she was with, did you see her with anyone else?" "No, I didn't really see a great deal of her. He was on top of her." "And would you recognise him if you saw him again?" "I'm not sure, Javi. I saw the back of his head, not his face, but I'll do my best," she replied. "I know you will. Are you okay to get home?" "Yes." "Of course, we'll need to record your details. It's procedure. Nobody leaves here until they've shown their ID." "I'll do that with the police at the door," Angelica replied, getting to her feet. She didn't want to keep Javi Jones any longer. He had a killer to catch.